Here we go.
Sweat Equity Podcast streaming show, the #1 business comedy business podcast in the world.
Can I do that?
We got Light Townsend on representing Greenpoint Research. We talking weed, we getting high. Yeah, son. What award did we just win?
Best business podcast in the universe.
By the Global Awards?
It's called now. You got.
I think it's called the Global Awards. While you look that up, make sure to go on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Rate us 5 stars. Give us a little review. That helps the show out big time. Subscribe if you like. Hit that little bell button. You know, smash that bell button. Smash that subscribe button. Smash it. Yeah.
The business podcast of the year from Corporate Livewire Global Awards 21-22.
That's hot, baby.
Suck my pussy from behind.
Lizzo, you loving it, girl. This episode is brought to you by your gut biome intelligence test. Biome. Get 70% off your gut intelligence test and supplements with our link to health insights, personal food recommendations, and precision supplements formulated just for you. I touched your nipple, or at least
Not
I
where
tried.
my nipple is.
Well, you got big silver dollar nipples. That's what the audience doesn't know.
Yes, they do. We just go back some episodes where we didn't have our shirts on. Done it like 100 times. Nice try.
It was cold in the room. Touche. All right.
What?
Get 70% off. You want to know about the flora and fauna of your gut? You want to have a better performance in 2022? Find out about yourself. Get this biome, your gut biome intelligence test and supplements with the link in our episode description. Let's get this party started. Howdy dowdy.
About my sweat equity. Sweat equity. Sweat equity. My sweat equity. My sweat equity. Sweat equity. What about my sweat equity?
This is
Look, I
these
have
have
good posture,
these
but
have
I'm
changed.
also
You guys
slow.
worried about being taller and shorter than
No,
each
these
other?
have changed.
No,
The
you-
framing's changed at some point.
I think your head got bigger, honestly.
I don't care. I'm out of frame. Fuck it. And we need to keep all of this in the show.
No, it's staying. I'll even talk into the microphone for it.
All right, Light and Robin. Robin's off camera a little bit, but it doesn't matter. We're mostly audio, but if you want to watch on video, why don't you tell people where to go and what y'all are all about at that fine logo and branding you have there.
I wore it just for you, man.
Thanks, man.
Did you make it?
Maybe. Where do people go to find out about you? We like to do the plugs at the top of the show.
Plugs at the top.
First for yourself, but
greenpointresearch.com, thegramco.com, Insta handles. Robin, I don't. What are the Instagram and Twitter handles?
Yeah, the_Gramco.com.
The_Gramco for Instagram,
And Steve Dahl.
and sativadol.com and sativadol on
Sativa Doll?
SATIVIDOL.
Wow.
So we've got a couple different, there's a couple different things going on. So Greenpoint is really like a cannabinoid production platform. So we have seed all the way to shelf for retail products, and then we've also got retail products under 2 brands, one called Sativadol and then one called Gramco.
Okay. Yeah. So those are brand extensions off of your main kind of brand there with Greenpoint.
Yes.
So, and, I'm glad you spelled that correctly because as an Auburn grad, I don't do very well with the words reading out loud or spelling on this show.
finally, you admit it.
So
Auburn's fault.
Light at least gets to average it out to about even money with my deficit and you being able to do it.
Happy to help out.
So you and I talk on the phone every now and again. It pretty much is almost like a podcast about a lot of different businessy things. But what y'all are doing is really interesting and kind of high level. So let's go through that. I know you just kind of threw out your elevator pitch of what y'all are, but let's break that down a little bit. What does seed to retail mean? Is that y'all are involved every part of the supply chain for hemp or marijuana or both, or what are we talking?
Do you like to party?
Yeah.
We like to party. Our business is all business though. So, we're exclusively focused on hemp production. So federally legal cannabis, which is a good kind of distinction to kind of draw. So in 2014, hemp was legalized, and then really 2018, it was able to be commercialized in the U.S. And so the line in the sand between those two products is if I grow a product, it's a cannabis plant that has less than 0.3% THC.
Mm-hmm.
If a True Leaf or a Surterra or any of the other bigger cannabis brands that are medical or recreational focused grow a cannabis plant, that plant has more than 0.3% THC. So our production is focused exclusively on low THC, federally legal cannabis.
Yeah, what we used to call regs back in the day. No,
Yeah, sure.
yeah, when you were trying to smoke, you're like, "Can I smoke this?" When you're in high school.
Talk about that the other day. Sitting in the car for an hour and a half for the world's shittiest weed. Ooh, is that him? Nope, not him.
First time you smoked, did
Bottom
you,
of the bag with all of the little seeds and stems and everything.
Oh yeah.
Ours looks a little bit better than that.
well, the first time you smoked, what was it? Did you get high, and what did you smoke out of? I'm very curious.
Yeah. Yes, and a J.
A J.
Yeah.
A Jewish
Poorly
person? Oh.
poorly rolled.
Poorly rolled J.
Poorly rolled.
Too tight or just too loose?
Oh, too loose. Very loose. It's like one they had a run down the side that like spanned it all the way down, and the top was still not even touched. It was amazing. Feat of engineering.
Mine was MLK Day. Now,
we're supposed to be. How about yours?
No, mine was MLK Day. Now that I think about it,
respect.
9th grade.
Also racist.
3 years ago.
Out of 9th grade, out of a Mountain Dew can crinkled in the middle at one of my best friend Blake Moser's house.
Wait, wow, way to narc him out.
Yeah, I'm sure he cares. And then we wrestled on the trampoline, a bunch of us dudes, and I got my ass beat.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized I wasn't the biggest guy in 8th grade anymore. I was the smallest guy in 9th grade.
I felt like you were going to say the biggest gay guy just now. You almost said.
Oh, no. Well, I did get a boner on the trampoline wrestling, but I hit it under my mesh shorts.
It matters. I'm just saying it seemed like you wanted to say that.
Stars will sneak up on you, man.
Well, and my N1 mesh shorts didn't help. And,
your love for balls.
And look, wrestling's kind of gay if you really think about it, at every level. What about you? Like, do you have one, or are you allowed to talk about it as a representative of the company?
Choose carefully which question you're responding to.
No, I had a good friend growing up. We smoked out of an apple at his back of grandma's house.
Triple Crown.
Yep, and then we ate the apple, and then we went for a canoe ride on the river. So
a canoe ride.
Pretty good day.
Yeah, that sounds like a Willie Nelson song to me for some reason. Just very chill.
Eat the apple on a canoe ride.
Now Robin is off camera, and look, she might be our first Harvard graduate on this podcast.
She's not here anymore.
Okay.
If you need me to get her back, I can get her back.
No. I just didn't know if y'all were both coming in on this as a tag team or what. But
if we have any Harvard questions, what's Harvard's mascot?
Crimson
Tide. Crimson Tide?
Something?
Nope,
do you know?
No, I'm asking for real. I don't know.
Is it Robin? You there? I'm here. Hey, what's Harvard's mascot? Do you know? I'm getting a blank stare. So no.
Okay.
The inbreds? No. The Pilgrim.
Blue Bloods.
The Pilgrim.
John Harvard, the Pilgrim.
No, that's
the mascot. Yeah,
This is good.
They're called the Crimson. I was fucking right. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, mother. Mm-hmm.
I wasn't disagreeing. I just didn't know.
All that
Pilgrim is the guy. That's their Bucko Bruce.
Yeah, he's got a huge square jaw like American Dad and kind of cartoony looking. I think Harvard could have done better, but
yeah, a whiter white guy. Look how white he is. Look at that jaw.
Yeah, white. He is as white as you could make a white guy mascot. Basically, they're not very woke, I guess. Back to the hemp industry. I find the origins of it being kind of illegal interesting with the Hearst family. What can you elaborate on? I mean, Hearst owned all the newspapers, right? And he didn't.
William Randolph Hearst.
Yeah, and he didn't, and magazines, and didn't want hemp to become a product that was taking his business out essentially, because he was manufacturing his own stuff.
Well, and it was like a cadre of these kind of barons and tycoons back in the day that kind of had different interests that hemp or cannabis would have infringed on. So Hearst with magazines and newspapers, the DuPont family with some of the rope and things that they were coming out with. That it wasn't actually the kind of interesting thing is it wasn't really made illegal until like the 70s.
Really,
it was taxed into effective illegality.
What does that mean?
Yeah,
how does that happen?
Come on, Brainiac. What is that?
The Marijuana Tax Act came out, and then nobody could grow it because there was no way to be able to actually, produce it as you couldn't. You had to pay so much money to do all of the different things that go with it, and from a farming perspective, even now it's still very expensive to. Our production is still fairly expensive. So, you've got laws that were put in place to actually tax people away from producing it, and so it just wasn't something that people could produce. And then when everyone found out, like, oh, hey, this is, the great, this is great for all of my artistic endeavors, and I'm flying sky high and riding on rivers. Maybe we shouldn't have that much fun.
Where do you see the business right now? What in terms of the legality and where the lines are? We're in the state of Florida. I think a lot of your operation is in Florida, right? And so, I go on stage talking about Florida needs it recreationally, arguably way more than any other state. Like we're taking,
because we live here,
because we're crazy, because we have everybody's crazy fucking relatives here. So we need to calm the fuck down. Like, where are we at? Is it going to become recreational? What's the insider scoop? What do you think? What's your prediction?
No, I don't really have the insider scoop on the recreational side of things, but a very interesting kind of thing that happened last year is Delta 8 THC is a new cannabinoid or a novel cannabinoid that people have been able to refine and synthesize from hemp, and because it is a version of THC, kind of talk about like the way we describe it is it's Delta 9 THC's cousin. So Delta 8 THC it's got a different chemical structure, but it still gives you the same kind of euphoria, same kind of high feeling. So all of the Delta 8 products that you guys may have seen at gas stations or smoke shops or whatever, all of that is federally legal, so that the production of those products can move across state lines. Delta Gramco, which is one of our brands, is a Delta 8 brand. So we have products, everything from gummies and vapes and a coffee that's been infused with Delta 8 that can get you high. We're calling Wake and Bake. We think that's a pretty cool product. But all of that
before.
Never done that before. But it's really cool. So it's got like water soluble Delta 8 powder in it. So when you make a cup of coffee, you're actually consuming THC.
Completely negating the point of the coffee.
No, it gets you very focused, man. It's the right kind of mindset for a lot of different types of work. I would say don't use it with heavy machinery, obviously, but anyway. So to get back to, Delta 8 is a newer cannabinoid that people are utilizing in a lot of different types of products, which gives you the same types of effects that you would get from recreational or medicinal cannabis.
And Delta 8
is federally legal.
Delta 8 isn't CBD because I'm trying to. It's moved so fast that a lot of people, this whole industry really in the last 10 years has kind of exponentially gotten huge, and so it's hard to kind of keep up with what's a cannabinoid, what's Delta 8. You assume because we look like we smoke that we would know it, but I don't even like it.
No, that's
I do have a medical marijuana card.
Me? Are you talking about me and you?
Yeah.
So, if you think about the compounds in the plant that are naturally occurring,
Okay.
The one that everybody's excited about, the one that people have medical cards and recreational cards for, that's Delta 9 THC, tetrahydrocannabinol.
That's the
CBD,
stuff that gets you high.
high,
Basically, high. Yeah.
Mhm.
high. Eat 3 pizzas, stay in a beanbag. I don't want to move.
As Bert Kreischer says, higher than a giraffe pussy. Yes.
Exactly.
You can't use any of this video for any of y'all's marketing. You cut it up. All right. Go on.
But so those cannabinoids, so Delta 9 THC is the most famous. CBD is the one that you were just talking about. That was really big a couple years back. CBD water, CBD, all sorts of stuff everywhere. CBD, but there's 150 of those types of compounds that are naturally occurring in the plant. So, the next wave of these, and you're right, it moves very fast. It's this iterative cycle around what's the next novel cannabinoid, what's its use. People are putting different cannabinoids to different uses. One that people are excited about is like CBN. I don't know how to say it, but CBN, works for like sleep aids. So they would think that, it might be something you take before, got a lot of anxiety, you can't calm down, want to go to sleep, you would take, a CBN product.
Instead of an indica, like a Delta 9 THC, right?
Yeah. So that indica sativa like kind of scale, there's what we think about it is as there's different mixes of cannabinoids that actually give you those feelings. So a sativa versus an indica, like it used to be way back in the day that those were very unique types of plants. Really because of the hybridization of the plant, there's been a lot of cross-pollination, a lot of different breeding and stuff. There's a lot of different cannabinoid profiles that give you those effects. That's not really necessary. It's really easy to utilize indica or sativa as like this umbrella term. But really what you're talking about is like the active ingredients in the plant. So how much CBD is there? How much Delta 9 THC is there? How much CBN, CBG, all these other cannabinoids that they're ingesting when they're ingesting those products that then have that related effect to the kind of umbrella terms of indica or sativa.
I can't wait to condescendingly misquote what you just said about that.
Yeah.
Is it an indica or sativa?
While
dork.
high. Just watch the episode,
so
dude.
old.
It does not play well at a party if someone's like, oh yeah, this is a really great indica, and then you tell them like, well, yeah, you shouldn't really call it that. The people don't like being told it wrong. So
Yeah.
Well, you have to have a simple way to kind of. My next thing I was gonna ask about is like, there's no real categorization that everything's agreed on. It seems that way. I mean, I'm sure is there a legal. It feels Wild Westy when you go into.
They need the nutrition facts like they do for food.
It's not. It's not very standardized. Like an FDA would with food. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of that. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm yes-anding. I'm co-signing.
Yes, and exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting because a lot of the products that groups like ours and other groups in the industry, we have to play within the framework of a lot of those regulations. So, like, if the FDA says that you have a product that people are going to eat or ingest, nutritional facts, active ingredients, all that stuff has to be on the label. What you're seeing is there are groups out there that either don't know or they're actively choosing not to put certain things on the labels. And, it kind of falls back on enforcement to say, hey, you've seen there's actually been some specific FDA enforcement around medical claims. And so, with CBD and some of these other groups, they're like, this will cure your hip pain every time you fall down, drink a CBD seltzer. And you're like, yeah, that's a medical claim. You can't say that without the backup and the research to be able to show that it actually does help whatever pain or anything. So, it is a little Wild Westy in that, even you're thinking about all of the different touch points in the industry that we have. So, like, we have genetics that are approved for farmers to grow in Florida that the Florida Department of Ag has said there's a list of approved genetics. You can't just grow any type of hemp. You can't just go to, Colorado, buy some hemp seeds and bring them back and grow them here in the state. You have to get on this approved list. So we have some cultivars that Greenpoint grows that we sell to farmers that are approved, and that's kind of a unique thing to Florida. And then you go all the way out to, the Wild West of, well, if I buy this gummy that's a Delta 8 gummy, is it homogenous with all the other gummies that were in that mix when they were making that gummy? Or am I about to get bombed with all of the Delta 8 from that mix.
It all sunk to the bottom in that one.
Yeah. And so homogeneity is something, and consistency of product that we try to focus on internally. We work with groups that are focused on providing consistent, a consistent experience. Like if you guys, what's your favorite beers?
Oh, dude, Busch Light all the way.
Captain Morgan rum.
There you go. So Busch Light, Captain Morgan Run. So if you bought a bottle of Captain Morgan Run or a 12-pack of Busch Light, you drank.
Better taste the same.
You drank a beer and you drank a rum drink, you would expect to feel a certain way. If every time you drank a beer or you had that rum drink, you were either feeling aggressively drunk because off of one drink or not drunk at all and you needed to drink 20 of them.
Right.
There's still this Wild West kind of consistency problem that is plaguing the industry. So we're trying to get on top of that internally. We hope that other good actors out there are trying to do the same.
Is there another crop you can compare it to? Because booze is always going to be the closest comparison, probably. Y'all are in terms of trying to figure out how to kind of make a standard. A Busch Light's going to have 5.5% alcohol. It's going to vary by state. Captain Morgan's going to have 35% alcohol, I think, 70 proof, whatever. Is that what it is? Yeah.
Yes.
And so, and they've had decades to kind of wring that out. I feel like y'all are going at ultra speed, and it's already getting so segmented out, kind of like booze is now.
Yeah. Be sure and come up with a stupid way to scale it out too, where it's like 70 proof. You have to do math, and it's half of that, and it's 35%.
Right.
Throw something stupid like that in there. That'd be great.
Right.
You had the 1 to 100.
The one friend in college is like, "Oh, go. What is it? That 180 rum or whatever?" And you're like,
right.
What?
Is that 180% rum?
Yeah.
What is it?
And then they're like, your friend has to leave 10 minutes later. You're like, God damn it.
Yeah.
And marijuana is getting that way, it feels like, but at hyper speed. So is y'all's business strategy to kind of find these segmentations that people aren't looking for, like the hemp seeds that can be sold in a state that no one might not be doing? Because I think True Leaf has on the retail side, at least, I don't know if they're vertically integrated like y'all are from seed to retail, but are y'all trying to compete in that differentiation of channels? Is that the strategy?
Yeah. So, and to talk about the True Leaf piece, so they're a medical marijuana provider in Florida, so they have a license there. Mm-hmm. So by nature of having that license, they have to be vertically integrated. So they have their own genetics. They produce their own retail products that people buy at the dispensary.
Oh, I didn't know that was a state by state kind of thing.
State by state, and the products that they produce cannot be moved across state lines. So True Leaf might have a license in Massachusetts, and they can't produce cannabis or cannabis products on their side of the line. Again, thinking about federal legality versus non-federally legal cannabis.
You can't be like Applebee's, where they will ship a bunch of steaks out from wherever their hub is to all the gross restaurants around the country.
That's not how it works in the True Leaf model, on the medical side of things or the recreational side of things. On the hemp side of things with us, that is not the case. We can do that. So, we have a 30-acre nursery that's based a little bit south of Lakeland that we're producing not only smokable flower, but also the starts and the seeds and things that we would sell to farmers. But we can take our products, from the farming partners that we work with in our internal farms, make these retail products like a Gramco or a Sativa doll, a vape or a gummy or something. We can transport it across state lines because the origin of that retail product is with hemp. So it's a federally legal derivative of the hemp side of the business. So, that's a long way of saying, with your question around, do we want to be fast, on the leading edge of these products? We're more so on the bulk commodity side of things. I can produce bulk cannabinoids, whatever the cannabinoid is that you're looking for, either CBD, Delta 8, THCO is the next one you guys are going to hear about, CBG, all these different cannabinoids. We can produce those at a bulk scale to provide a consistent ingredient for whatever the retail consumer is looking for and what, like a retail place might want to provide to their customers. So like we got into the retail side of things with Sativa and Gramco as a proof of concept, kind of a hedge on commodity prices, but more so like we're large scale producers. So we want to sell bulk cannabinoids to people that are making products that are delighting all of their end use customers.
So other than ingesting, is there other uses that you guys are selling it for?
Yeah, not us.
Or
Any suppositories or something cool? I mean, other things?
that counts as ingesting.
Oh, well,
Not putting it in you. I'm saying like making things like a knapsack.
I retract my question.
So when we think about the hemp industry, there's kind of three legs to the stool. So there's the high cannabinoid, high oil crop, which is what we're focused on. There's fiber crop, which is knapsacks, clothes, rope, and things like that.
It's a suppository crop.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Flip that stool over. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Had to do it.
Wink,
Couldn't
wink.
not.
The three of us could have a good stool. All right.
There you go.
Made it work.
And then there's the feed side of things. So you'll see like hemp protein if you go to like Walmart or stuff, hemp seeds that you can put on salads. And so the production methods for those three different segments are a little bit different. And the plant that you would plant and put into the ground is different. So you think about it like the difference between like a navel orange and like a pulp orange that's used for just like orange juice. So like one you would be eating, one you're drinking. There's different effective cultivars of oranges, and that's kind of the way that you would think about it with hemp.
Okay, that helps.
Yeah, but
Get that.
just put a button on the last part we were talking about with so your volume, you're kind of about volume, bulk, but kind of niche, for lack of a better term, category or segmentation of the market. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. We think about it like a production platform. So we have an agricultural production platform that can point at whatever cannabinoid is needed for the marketplace. So for instance, if you had a large scale buyer that wanted to use CBG, which has antibacterial qualities in like a soap, we could spin the agricultural production model up to produce high CBG cannabis hemp that would then be extracted with our extractor and distilled and then isolated into the actual CBG isolate they would be using as the active ingredient in their consumable product.
I knew you had to go to Harvard to be able to do this stuff. I was always like, I think I could do it. It seems hard.
He went to Auburn, bro.
Farming. Oh, well, that offsets it, though.
Robin, the CMO who
I know
left.
Robin. I know.
She was
I
the
assume
Harvard.
She's the brains.
She's the CMO. I mean, he's answering stuff. He's turned into a goddamn scientist. I don't like.
I know, it's crazy.
Becoming
That's what I'm saying.
a nerd.
I feel stupid. Is my point.
Well, what's crazy is all right. So, Law, we went to Auburn. I'm from Tampa. You're from Tampa. City boys.
So is Eric. Yep. Yeah.
I went to law school. I was going to be an attorney. Excited about being an attorney. Now I'm working in fields at the nursery, in our production, manufacturing space. There's a lot to learn about all that stuff. Like a common misconception. There's a video going around like Mike Bloomberg back when he was running for president. And he's like, farming's easy. You just put a seed in the ground, you cover it with some soil and then water it and shit grows. It's money, money trees. And it's like everybody. Yeah. Yeah. And so it's been a substantial learning process to try and get up to speed on a lot of the stuff and the changes that you're identifying, it has a lot of ramifications for us internally because we're like, okay, what's the next thing that people are excited about? How do we breed our products and our plants to get to a higher dosage or a higher compound content in our cannabis to be able to point the agricultural platform at that end use bulk commodity, whatever it may be.
I find so. You're trying to, how do you research trying to find that next trend? What's your criteria? What do you really, are you guys testing a lot of stuff and just going, this might be the next thing that we're going to push it out and push it out from us out? Or you hear something, how are you researching this to figure out what the next thing is? Because finding a trend and riding that wave is difficult, right? I mean, that's the research and Greenpoint research, I assume.
Yeah, very much so. We hear about things. So we have pretty substantial like sales network. So not, groups that work directly for Greenpoint Research, but groups we interface with that are kind of on that leading edge. What is the consumer looking for? So we get a lot of feedback from the network nationwide that's asking, hey, we're looking for, 1,000 kilos of THCO, which is a new cannabinoid that people are excited about. The next one we think kind of on the horizon is THCO. It was kind of the same. So we had the largest cannabis harvest in the history of Florida we had in 2019.
Congratulations.
Mazel
Yeah,
tov.
thank you. And so that was a high CBD crop. So again, an oil crop planted in rows, 150 acres of product. And so CBD at that time was what everybody was excited about. And you heard rumblings of Delta 8 and people are like, well, Delta 8 might be the next new thing. Lo and behold, 2020, 2021 comes around. And all the Delta 8 is everywhere now. If you walk into any of these smoke shops, you can find Delta 8 products. And so it's really a feedback loop about what are the brokers, what is the network kind of asking about in some of these kind of far-flung places, California, Colorado, and then trying to be able to start working on internally getting ready for being able to produce, a significant amount of that bulk commodity, whatever it is.
Are y'all looking into the psychedelic market? That seems to be another kind of industry sector of this kind of area. It's a crop,
but it's like a whole different ball game.
Yeah, but are you guys looking into that as well? Because that seems to be on the whole another big wave coming. Probably in the next decade, a little bit.
Yeah, they all kind of fit under this like alternative health and wellness side of things, and I think there's actually been a lot more research done on the psilocybin, mushroom therapy. One of the issues with cannabis is that because it's a Schedule I drug, it's been a Schedule I drug. There hasn't been as much research as there probably should have been about what those possible health and wellness benefits are. To answer your question directly, we're not focused on mushrooms. We had a presentation that someone was telling us about how to farm them. We're like, that doesn't match with any of the stuff we're doing. Yeah. So that's not going to be a focus for us.
Gotcha. So it's not even in the same ballpark. It's a similar process, maybe.
They're not even the same. What is it? Genus.
Genus. Nice.
I didn't say that. I said genus.
Genus.
You said genius.
I said genus, like penis.
We have it on tape. We have it on tape. Penis.
I'll never look at it.
I know.
All right, Light. Thanks for enlightening us.
Wait, really?
Can you? We ask everybody that's come on the podcast the first time. This question will end on this. What advice would you give your 13-year-old self?
What advice would I give my 13-year-old self?
By the way, I'll vamp for a second. I love that everybody that comes on the show never
doesn't know that it's coming. It's always. I was gonna say the same fucking thing. Everybody's like, "Whoa,
damn, dude, you went deep, dude."
Glad you're a fan.
You could go deep with the answer, or I could go very superficial. So the superficial one would be, don't bleach your hair blonde. Because that's a bad look for you.
Yeah, that's a good add-on at the end.
You probably got called Smash Mouth, yeah.
Yeah, and then, because you'll be haunted by these pictures that come up that your mom brings out. That's just a bad look. You don't want people to see that. The deep philosophical one would be just be more curious. I think, at that age, I was a little closed off to, philosophical ideas, reading books and stuff. I liked, I really wasn't. I was into running around with friends, playing football and, doing that type of stuff. And, reading as an adult, trying to understand more about business, about the world, how things are connected. I think getting that at an earlier age would have been better for me.
Yeah. It's, I think about successful people, and one of the things that makes them successful is being curious and trying to either find the answer or get close to finding the answer, and asking why or what, how does this work? Those kind of things. And when, maybe where, but it's one of those things where that's a reminder, because I try to foster curiosity out of my kids, when they ask questions, I try to answer them no matter how benign and pissed I am. That my daughter knows that she'll just start
benign and pissed.
Right. Well, like benign the questions, but also pissed because my daughter just asks questions because she knows it's starting to annoy me because she's not really giving a shit. And then I'm like, you're not really asking me.
At least she asks you questions. She just pokes at me.
Yeah, but she wants to beat you up, and she might, one day.
Bring it, Minnie.
Light, thanks for coming on. And anything else we can promote? Who can we get the word out about y'all? Or are you just totally your own deal?
We're looking. So we launched Wake and Bake Coffee. If anybody likes coffee and or likes cannabis, this is a great product for you guys. So thegramco.com, Wake and Bake Coffee with Delta 8. We'll ship it anywhere. You can have a legal high delivered directly to your door from Gramco, anywhere in the U.S.
And look, you've had a resting heart rate of like 40 beats per minute and answered everything swimmingly. So maybe that coffee works. Maybe we got to get it.
Yeah.
It will help you stay on the right frame of mind to be able to have some fun.
Just sprinkle a little cocaine in there. It'll be great. All right, man. Appreciate you coming on. I'll see you when you're up this way next time.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, dude.
Later.
Sweat equity.
All right.
What about my sweat equity?